All right, so Peter has some questions on right capital. On right capital, what's the difference between preservation and conservative on the probability page next to allocation? So let's just read. We're going to go to this. The difference between preservation and conservative. Conservative is 35-65 stocks to bonds with a 3.8% annual return and a 6.8% standard deviation. Hopefully by now you guys know how to figure what this means in terms of top to bottom. But just remember, for simplicity, we're going to say this is 4 and 7. So 3 standard deviations mean that with a 99.8% based on the numbers we're putting in, the average rate of return and the standard deviation, we would expect your portfolio to be within these two frames, all right? So 99.8% of the time. Now, again, it's all, we don't know because it's all based on speculation of what average rates of return and a standard deviation would be, volatility. But we use historical numbers for average, for standard deviation. I do not use historical numbers for average rates of return. I use the Vanguard models for future rates of return, that their expectations. But we do use historical volatility, standard deviation. All right, so if that's the case, 4% is the average. So we times 7 by 3, that gets 21%. 21 plus 4 would give us 25% on the up. 21 minus 4 would give us 17 on the down. So within 99.8% of the time, we should get between negative 17 and positive 25. All right, now you have these 0.1% on each side. It's called a black swan. But within 99.8% of the time in the software that we're using, we would expect to get no worse than a 17% decline in any given year and no better than a 25% up. That's conservative. Preservation is going to be even lower than that. You get an average rate of return of 2.9 with a 5% standard deviation. So we're going to say 3 and 5 for simplicity. So that means on any given year, 99.8% of the time, you should never get above 18% on the up, or 12% on the down. I hope that makes sense. So that's preservation. 3% average annual, and we just talked about the standard deviation in terms of positive and negative. Conservative is a 4% average rate of return. Balanced is a 4.5. Moderate is a 5. Growth is a 5.5. Aggressive is a 5.9. Most aggressive, 6.2, I think, 6.3. Then I also have U.S. total stock with no bonds at all. That's 6.5 and 17% standard deviation. Again, go to most aggressive, I think it's 10% bonds, yep. And then we got all bonds. It's 2.1 and a 4.6 standard deviation. All right. And then he says, on the Social Security estimated benefit amount, what's the difference between based on full retirement benefits and based on historical earnings? All right, well, we're going to go to Social Security. We're going to go to Profile, Income. And we're going to say based on full retirement benefits. You're going to look at what your statement says for your full retirement age, and you're going to put it down right there. I mean, it says it right there. It says, what's your PIA? Put your PIA. That's your full retirement age benefits. So that should be pretty easy to figure it out, I think. Estimated benefit amount, you put based on full retirement benefits. You're just looking at your statement. And you're saying my statement says as of my PIA, my full retirement age would be $3,000 a month or whatever. Now, he says based on historical earnings. Well, here, you just got to come and kind of plug and paste this. So here, just go to the numbers and cut and paste what the Social Security record shows. So based on literally, this is the more realistic one right here, my friends. Because it literally says what your benefits are. This is just a sample, by the way. So if you want to use realistic ones, you should go to Social Security and just cut and paste what your real benefits are, and then the software will figure it out. If you just want to use what the statement says, well, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. If you want to use simple estimate, they're just going to use the estimate based on your current income. I don't recommend doing that because your current income, it won't be that income you made for 35 years, and then you can say no benefits. Don't do that either. And then you're going to say, when are you going to file? So once you put this in full retirement benefit, we've got $3,000 a month. Don't change this number. That's your PIA. So now we're going to change when we're going to file. We're going to file full retirement age. At Becky's retirement, we're going to file her full retirement age. We're going to file at Becky's age of 70. Anyway, hope that makes sense. It's a good question. Don't try too hard with some of these questions. What I mean by that is don't overthink some of this stuff. Just read it. Read what it says. I think a lot of people mistake a lot of stuff that's on here because I just think they're nervous, frankly, about the software. It says monthly full retirement benefit amount, PIA. It literally says it right there. That's what it says, all right? So if you just read the stuff, and I'm not chastising my man P here, I'm just saying just read it. It'll tell you. You can obtain an estimated benefit amount at full retirement age from Social Security website. And then based on historical earnings, again, you can obtain an estimated amount and just you can kind of see right there. I hope that makes sense. And part two of this actually would be your income, retirement expenses. Just read this. I tell you, I do think people get intimidated by software. Don't. Retirement expenses should reflect your average monthly expenses during retirement, exclusive of any other expenses you have entered, such as mortgage, debt, or insurance payments. The expense should be expressed in today's dollars and will be automatically inflated. So if you have mortgage, debt, insurance payments, don't put it here. I cannot stress this enough. If you just want to have it one fell swoop and say, I need $62.50 a month, by all means, put that in there. I challenge that because I inflate healthcare by 5.5, and I inflate the regular cost of living by 2. But I get it, man. Some people just keep it simple. That's fine. But remember, don't do $62.50, which includes your mortgage, health insurance, and other debt, if you have that in the software elsewhere under the right here under the income. No, yeah, maybe it was income, Social Security. I must delete it. But there's another thing for your I think you go here, health insurance. Right, it's around here someplace. Yeah, long-term care. So don't include it in here if you have it in for retirement health care. I mean, if you have it for retirement health care, don't include it here too. Then you're double dipping. Yeah, hope that makes sense. Love to hear your thoughts. Thanks now.